Riverside County Sheriff Chad Bianco. We have San Bernardino County Sheriff Sergeant Nicholas Clark. We have San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes. We have Assistant District Attorney Brandon Smith, and then myself. So someone who's not here, I want to thank as well, or introduce as well, Jason Anderson, San Bernardino County District Attorney. I want to start by thanking these gentlemen up here. I want to thank the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office for their professionalism, their cooperation, and the great work that they hear so far. I want to thank Jason Anderson.
Welcome in, guys. This is the press conference for baby Emmanuel Haro.
Has recently formed
I wasn't going to run this live.
Instrumental in helping us with this investigation.
While they're thanking everybody, I just want to let you know, thank you for coming over here. I know there's a lot of people running this right now. I wasn't going to run live, but it seemed like several of you guys had asked and sent me messages if I was running this live, and decided to go ahead. Right now we have people getting prepared. This is one of the larger cases in this area, and they're going to be going through thinking of their local, state, and federal partners, and then I'm pretty sure we're going to start getting into some more commentary on the specifics in this case. So without further ado, for the folks that are in here, thank you so much. Please don't forget to hit the like button before you as you're coming in. I greatly appreciate it. God bless everybody. This is a good day, and we're going to discuss a little further after this press conference about the press conference and some details that I've learned since our last live.
For that, you will have to come to the court and to the various hearings and see how the case plays out.
So it sounds like no cameras or anything in the courtroom.
Having said that, it's appropriate to have a press conference because it was the defendants in this case that had a press conference first. And they did so in order to tell the public, the media, and ultimately law enforcement that their child had been kidnapped, when in fact that's not what occurred. And so,
thank you, Stacy.
We're here to clear up some misconceptions and to explain how this case unfolded in terms of the investigation. It involves two counties working very well together. I know everybody up here on this stage, we work well together normally. But in this case, I'm very proud of the work that was done by Riverside County Sheriff, San Bernardino County Sheriff, my office, and also the District Attorney's Office in San Bernardino. All right, so we'll go ahead and kick this off. I'm going to bring up first San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon Dykes.
Guys, we're ready to get some information. If you're here, thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit that like button.
I want to thank all of you in the media for covering this, specifically the parents' initial statements to the public while we were trying to find Emmanuel. They became critical as we continued through this investigation. But I want to talk about a little bit about the process because we've seen a number of questions related to Amber Alerts and things like that. So I hope when I finish this that everybody understand kind of the course of the investigation.
I'm turning my microphone off, so let me know if the sound also goes off.
When Rebecca Haro reported that her son had been kidnapped. Folks, within 24 hours through video surveillance, we found inconsistencies in Rebecca's statement. And as a
Turn up your audio. Mine's up as far as it can go.
Amber Alert or anything, and I know many of you were wondering why that didn't occur. But really, after finding out those inconsistencies in the statement on the initial report, that's where hundreds of hours of investigations have come in by our Specialized Investigations Division to try to get to the bottom of what's really going on here. And when I say hundreds of hours, I'm talking about forensic data on vehicles, phones, and potential crime scenes, judicial authorized search warrants that were served. And through that process, that's where we learned that the jurisdiction of where this has occurred was in Riverside County. So hence the Riverside County DA and Riverside County Sheriff's Department, which I can't stress enough. We've had a long-term partnership. We work well together, and we know how to get things done in these environments. But that's why the jurisdiction had changed from the original jurisdiction that was reported in, which is Yucaipa, California. But as we went through that portion of the investigation and realized that these things had happened in Riverside County, you saw the culmination of all the different entities get involved. And going back to what Mike mentioned about the that we're not going to be able to share today exactly how we did that, but there is a tremendous amount of evidence that suggests that the initial story posed was not the correct story. So in that partnership with our agencies, I'm going to introduce my partner, Chad Bianco, where this crossover occurred at Riverside, and we reached out to Mike, who's obviously filing the case, and of course Chad to assist us in the investigation. Chad?
Thank you. Like Sheriff Dicus, I just want to thank all of you for, especially the normal mainstream media, for your attention to this and for your cooperation in this as we were assisting San Bernardino in this investigation, trying to originally find a missing baby, but then eventually quickly learning that that investigation was not something that it started as. Not so much for social media and keyboard warriors who quite honestly sometimes hamper and prevent us from a good investigation. I do want to expand a little bit about
Oh, sorry, guys. Hold on.
our relationship with San Bernardino. A lot from the media, a lot of questions have been raised about jurisdiction. And what Sheriff Dicus and I routinely talk about to our own communities isn't really necessarily displayed in
How's
media
the
or said
sound
to
for
the media,
everybody?
but neither one of us care about jurisdiction. Our belief is that the Inland Empire is better served when we are cooperating and working together. And in this investigation from the very beginning, it was obvious that it could involve both counties. When something like that happens, particularly in this case, the original investigation began with Sheriff Dicus, and if he chooses to take it to the end, he will, which obviously he did. And my position is Sheriff Dicus is responsible for this and the assistance of my department. So there is no asking us, there is no anything like that. It is, we have to serve our public best, and he has every single available resource that the Riverside County Sheriff's Office has to offer to make sure that we provide justice in this case. This is an extensive investigation with both agencies that ultimately is headed by the supervisor of the Detective Bureau from the Sheriff's Office in San Bernardino. But the cooperation, as you can see, between the both counties is what is going to bring this to a successful conclusion. There is absolutely nothing, no crime more important than the injury of a human being, particularly a child. And the amount of resources that were expended to find this baby and to ultimately bring the people to justice responsible for the loss of this baby, I can't even tell you the amount of resources that were expended in this. It is a massive investigation that will obviously be ongoing, and we appreciate your efforts. This involves a lot of things, though, from us, and hopefully there are more questions to be answered, but I'll end it by saying this before we get into more questions specifically about this case. This was preventable in numerous ways. The amount of response we have had from the public, the enormous anger that a child was not only originally thought to be kidnapped, but then presumably murdered, kind of warms my heart a little bit. That there is compassion still out there. There is care about other people. There is, people actually do care about other people. There is absolutely nothing worse than harming a baby. Broken bones, injuries, life-altering trauma. And had that case been successfully handled how it should have been, Emmanuel would still be with us today. So I thank you all for taking the time and the effort to make sure that the world sees this investigation, and we will successfully bring it to conclusion with the help of both DA's offices.
Thank you, Sheriff. I neglected to mention that Sergeant Nicholas Clark is the lead investigator on this case. So even though he's San Bernardino County, he will be functioning as the lead investigator on this case, which is ongoing. The investigation is ongoing, even though we have filed charges. And then Brandon Smith is going to be the lead prosecutor on the case, obviously Riverside County prosecutor. And with that, obviously, you all know, yesterday in court, we filed murder charges on both Jake and Rebecca Haro. We also filed filing of a false police report. And with that, I will take questions. I know you're going to have a lot of questions. I do want to lay some ground rules. The way we do it here is Don't shout at me, no chaos, just raise your hand. I ask you to ask me one question at a time. I'll do my best to call on everybody. When we've gotten through everyone who has a question, then we...
This is very important for them to make instructions. A lot of times they don't.
My question is, first of all, do you have any idea where baby Emmanuel is?
Do you have any idea where baby Emmanuel is?
You know, yes, we have a pretty
Oh.
strong indication of where the remains of baby Emmanuel
New
are.
information.
So that investigation is ongoing at this time.
So they believe they know where he's
Yes,
at.
go ahead.
Now, Johnson, what was the information that led to the initial search off the 60 in Moreno Valley?
What was the information that led to the search off of 60?
Sheriff, you want to take that?
I'm not going to go into grave detail about that, but there is some level of cooperation with the suspects involved in this, and we're trying to locate that, and our job is to follow every lead. But for the rest of the room here, we have to understand what you're dealing with is an experienced child abuser that is aware of a previous case, that is aware of evidentiary things that we are certainly concerned with. So we're going to take every step to not only work with any suspect or witness involved in this, because at the end of the day, we have to bring a case to Mike and they have to charge it, and we have to make sure that every single thing, no matter what is told to us or what we discover in terms of evidence, is the right thing, and that we follow it up extensively.
Looks like we have some audio issues
I'll
on
go
here.
to you first, and then to you. Go ahead.
Give me just a second. I don't like the way this is working. I don't know if they're having problems from...
The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Noah was abused, victim of childhood abuse, and that eventually, because of that abuse, succumbed to those injuries. Victim of childhood abuse, that's what we believe.
Hold on a
And
second.
that eventually, because of that abuse, succumbed to those injuries. That's what we believe.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. I have to get one because one's not working well. There you go.
We charged both Jake and Rebecca with murder. Who's next? Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
This is in reference to what Dad was talking about, but can you go into some detail about that case in 2023 and what happened there?
Sure.
And from my understanding, it's a suspended sentence.
Yes, I will. So in 2018, Jake Haro with his ex-wife, there's another child who they were prosecuted for child abuse as well, child neglect, cruelty. That child was also an infant, and that came to the courts, arrested in 2018, it came in to the courts in 2023. We had charged various felony crimes, child abuse, child cruelty, and our indication or what we wanted out of the case was prison. We believed it was a prison case and that Jake Haro should have gone to prison. Jake Haro pled straight up to the court, which sometimes reporters get this wrong and you call it a plea bargain. Judges are not allowed to plea bargain. Defendants can plea bargain with the prosecutor.
Thank you, Salman.
But when a defendant pleads up to the court, they plead to everything that they've been charged with, and they're essentially throwing themselves on the mercy of the court. In this case, a judge here in Riverside County, happened to have been a visiting judge from San Bernardino County, gave Mr. Haro a suspended sentence, which means, if I can translate for you what that is, it means that instead of sending him to prison, he chose to give him probation and suspend prison time sort of over his head, meaning that if he violated his probation, he would then go to prison. My prosecutor in the courtroom objected to that and said on the record, we object, we think it's a prison case, you should send him to prison. And the judge decided, as is the judge's right to do in that case, he decided that Mr. Haro deserved an extra break and
a
gave him
baby is
probation
dead because of
and,
it.
basically 180
And
days
a baby
of
is
work
dead
release, which
because of
ends up
that
being
judge's
community
decision.
service. I will say that it was an outrageous an outrageous error in judgment by this judge. And I don't have any problem saying that. I'm not attacking the judge personally. That decision was absolutely outrageous. Mr. Haro should have been in prison at the time that this crime happened. And if that judge had done his job as he should have done, Emmanuel would be alive today. And that's a shame, and it's an outrage. And I hate to say that, but when our criminal justice system breaks down, I'm going to just call it like it is and tell you it broke down.
We need more people
It's
like
not
this guy.
how it's supposed to work.
We need
The
more
judge
people
had
like this guy.
Obviously meant well. At the end of their sentence, he told Jake, I'm giving you a big break today, don't mess it up. But I want to point something out to you. I want to read to you the injuries.
Not when it comes to a child's life. No.
The child's name is Carolina.
Nope.
She is still alive today, but she is permanently bedridden. She has permanent damage, cerebral palsy, that is a result of long-term child abuse. I want to read to you the injuries that were presented
is gonna be hard,
in court
folks.
to this judge at the time of that previous prosecution. Acute fracture of the posterior left rib, fifth rib, healing fractures of the posterior lateral 6th, 7th, and 10th through 12th ribs, healing fractures of the 6th and 9th through 12th ribs, partial bone fracture of the skull, brain hemorrhage,
And
significant
the judge didn't think
prevertebral
this was enough
soft
to
tissue
throw
swelling
him
of
in
the
jail
neck,
for.
and a healing tibia fracture of the right leg. This is severe abuse
Severe.
for an infant. And so
10 weeks old.
whatever you think of the criminal justice system and people need a break, someone who does that to a child belongs in prison.
Yes.
Period. Next question.
I don't understand the
Not to
question.
my knowledge, no. Yes. You know, I'm not going to, I can't speculate. What I'll say, I'll repeat what I already said. We believe that Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time, and that that's the reason for the filing, the way it was, is that he was abused over a period of time. Both parents would have been aware of that abuse.
Amen.
I've already called on you, so I'm going to exhaust. Yes, sir. No, one question, sir. One question. I didn't say that, sir. I didn't say I know where the remains are. Well, you should get some rest, sir. You should get some rest. But no, I can't share with you anything. Look, there are professionals that are looking for the remains of this child. If the public has any information, then we ask for their help. So we don't know exactly where the remains are. We have some ideas in terms of where we're going to look and where we're going to continue to investigate.
That sounds
Yes,
like
sir, all the way in the
Ahmed.
back. No, I'm not going to do that. Unfortunately, I understand it's an obvious question, but I just can't go into it. Those are things that the evidence will be presented in court, and I'll have to wait till we do that.
So
Who's
we're
next?
not getting a whole lot of
Yes, sir.
information.
Can you explain, I know they both have charges filed against them. I believe that Jake or Rebecca both were actively involved in abusing Emmanuel.
We're both actively involved in abusing Emmanuel.
All I can explain is what we have filed. We filed murder charges on both of them and making a false police report on both of them. So you can extrapolate that we believe that both of them are
Both
guilty,
involved.
that we can prove it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt for both the murder and the filing
Wow.
of the false police report. You know, how
Wow.
it breaks down as to Who did what, that also has to wait for the trial. So let me go this way. Okay.
It's in Spaniel. I don't understand Spanish.
Pues ya dije lo que puedo decir, fue una tragedia increíble y no hubiera sucedido. El juez hizo un gran error y juzgó mal y el sistema se quebró ese día. Jueces, fiscales, defensores, todos tenemos un deber y tenemos que hacer nuestro deber en nuestro trabajo. Todo lo que puedo decir. Claro, claro que no. Le dio libertad condicional y esto fue un caso de prisión. Cuando uno hace daño así a un niño, debería ir a prisión. Eso es lo que dice la ley. La ley dice que la sentencia debe ser prisión por crímenes de este nivel de gravedad. Y en este caso le dio probation. Okay. Let me go to you. I haven't called on you yet.
Rumors that Emmanuel hasn't been seen for days.
No, unfortunately I can't. That have to wait for the trial to come out. Yes, sir.
Given the history that Jake has been obviously charged with previous child abuse cases, has CPS been involved with Emmanuel throughout his life at all, or have they ever checked with one parent?
To my knowledge, CPS has not been involved with Emmanuel. I don't believe there was any
No
CPS
CPS
involvement in this current case.
No CPS
Let me
involved in
go.
this
I've already
family.
called on you. So have I called on you already? No, go ahead, please.
I can't hear.
I can tell you that that's not true. It's there's no confession made in jail. I'll go back there and then I'll come back to you, Rob. Yes, go ahead, sir. Yeah. Well, there's the 2-year-old and then baby Emmanuel. Yeah. Going back there, yes, ma'am.
So where was the 16-year-old?
You know, a no-body homicide is always difficult, but obviously with an infant, we know that baby Emmanuel didn't, leave on his own or is not, didn't leave town. Obviously, it's a little different when you're talking about an infant, but we have a lot of experience in this county trying no-body homicides.
Told you guys.
And we're confident that we can gain convictions in this case. Yes, ma'am. Well, I think Sheriff Dyke has already explained that. He answered that question by saying there's been a level of cooperation with the defendants, so that's why they went to that area. But beyond that, that's all I can say. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think the obvious question is, what happened then? I mean, this is the report that was asked about his jail confession.
What happened to him, basically, is the question.
The father confessed that.
Well, see, that's not true. So I don't know where you, well, no. See, this is what happens when you've got all these folks out there online and these keyboard warriors. You get a lot of misinformation, and what you just said is not true. It's misinformation. So that's what I'll tell you did not happen. Okay? I can't talk about the facts of the case. Well, no, I'm giving you information about baby Emmanuel. I'm giving you information about the cases and the investigation, but what you just said did not happen. And so, it's not, I can't be responsible for when you guys get it wrong. Go ahead.
I know you have not found the remains yet, but based on the level of cooperation of the suspect.
I think it's a little disingenuous from this whole community. Maybe they don't want information out there about how he's treating the online journalist is
I'm
ridiculous.
just not going to comment on that. We're looking for the remains. These investigation is continuing. We're hoping to find the remains of baby Emmanuel. Yeah, please, Sheriff.
This is to that and to the question before. A problem that we are having in this, basically even on the question that was asked 2 questions ago.
I have a
is someone
funny feeling
posts
this
something on
guy's going to
social
piss me
media,
off.
And then you all believe that it's true. I actually complimented the mainstream media because you've actually been reaching out to us for comment and actually been printing what we've told you.
What we've told you.
And the sensationalism and the wants for clicks for social media. And that is doing nothing but harming this investigation. And when you form your opinion and come in here and ask questions like that, you're not serving the public in any way.
So shaming them is serving the public.
Get some rest.
90%
There
of
should be no
people
one
get
out
their
there looking for baby
information
Emmanuel
off the
except for
news
us,
or
because
off
all you're going to do is complicate
social
things
media.
in the future. And the one thing that I emphasize that I want to make it clear here, the reason this is happening relatively quickly and the reason why we got such a handle on this fast is I believe that the Inland Empire is served better by their 2 sheriff's offices than any place in the state. And this particular case doubled its efforts. So instead of having 4,500 people looking for baby Emmanuel, you had 9,000. And so how did we get all of this information? It's called investigation. And we
Oh, so shame the public. We don't have.
but
Let's
sifting
keep
through
listening
evidence,
to this.
searching for
Right.
evidence,
So
trying to figure
public,
out
don't pay
what
attention
happened,
anymore to these
who was
cases because law
responsible, and how
enforcement
we're going
doesn't
to
think
successfully prosecute
that
it.
anybody is
And
helpful out there in the
misinformation,
public.
lies, and purposeful
I disagree.
misdirection is going to do nothing but harm this investigation. And I am begging all of you with cameras out here, don't be a part of it.
Yeah, just sit down, shut up, don't say nothing. We shouldn't even try to make
You
these
wasted
things
yours
go.
in English? I'll get back to you.
That
I'll
was
get back
so
to you. No, I've
disrespectful.
already called on you.
That was so,
go ahead. I started with you. Go ahead.
disrespectful. So disrespectful. So disrespectful. Sorry, not sorry. That's unacceptable. This is journalism, freedom of speech. We have a right to be there, folks. We have a right to be there.
You impacted me by the way you said that, so I wanted to know how this impacted you.
So I have to, cops get a bad rap of being.
Clearly, social media
Just
does
heartless
too, asshole.
souls.
Excuse me, I shouldn't have said that. He's a good
I will tell
sheriff.
you
They
that
got a job
most
done.
police
He just got
officers
under my
are
skin. I'm
parents,
sorry. Let me
either
backtrack
dads or
that.
moms. And there is nothing more traumatic for us to go through than an injury, a death, or harm to a child. Nothing.
I can't
and there is
believe this.
absolutely nothing
Shame
that
on
we
social
want
media.
more than to bring
Shame
these
on
investigations
social
to a
media.
successful conclusion.
Wow.
And
Shame on
the-
social media.
When we talk about why we're here in the first place, that we believe someone murdered baby Emmanuel, who should still be in prison, but we have this unbelievable love for criminals, believing that they're somehow victims, and now we're all traumatized by it. We were all in this room a couple of years ago when I had a deputy murdered because someone was out on the street that should have been life in prison, but a judge let them go. We have an absolute breakdown of the justice system, and we are not preventing other children from being harmed when someone like Jake is allowed to be out on the streets harming children.
Yeah, and
so
you
the
know what?
anger that I
Because
have, the
of
frustration that I
non-social
have,
media,
then
that
combined with
case
the
never got
misinformation and everything
widespread
else, when
attention.
for
But
all of
shame
us
on
and our
social
employees,
media.
there is nothing more important to us than the death of a human, particularly a child.
Shame on social media.
Okay. I'm going to work the back. Yes, sir.
Shame on us. It wouldn't even have
Well,
been this big.
we've got a lot of
Those
evidence.
sheriffs wouldn't even have
We're gonna
gotten
have to
much
play that out in
attention
court.
had
I
it not
can't-
been
I
for
can't
the
lay it
work
out here
social
today.
media did. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so,
I disagree.
Just right next to him.
I'm not taking my congratulations
I don't
back
know
to
if
the
we're going to see the
officers,
arrest
but
warrant
this
today.
pisses me off.
So that's a pretty short answer for Spanish. So, yeah. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, and then I'll come back to you.
It's not doesn't matter. He's criticizing Ahmed. He's criticizing that beautiful young girl that
I
was
just
that's
can't
that's
say.
a
I'm not
mom.
gonna give a
The people
timeline.
that were out there giving us
Obviously, baby
information.
Emmanuel,
Those are the people
we
he's
have
being
a
nasty
theory
to.
as to
Unacceptable.
when his death occurred. So, and then I've also shared that we believe that when the parents came forward,
Exactly. That's
it
why
was
that's why law enforcement loves mainstream media. They'll lie to their audience
To-
for them. We won't.
tell the public something that wasn't true. Going which way?
I bet you we find
Go
out
ahead.
some of the stuff Ahmed was reporting is accurate in that trial, and they just didn't want it out. So they criticize this man and make him look like shit in front of the public. That's bullshit.
There's a lot of witnesses. Investigators are tracking down every lead. I'm not going to focus in on who's a relative and who isn't. There's a lot of witnesses in the case that are shedding light. Yes, ma'am.
And you said you were doing what area are you focusing on and what's the manpower behind that right now?
All the cold cases being solved by social media. Stop what you're doing. They don't need your
Right,
help.
So
30 and 40 years
I'm
later,
not gonna
still
say,
don't need help.
As Sheriff Bianco just mentioned, when you have members of the public that are out there doing their own searches, all it does is potentially prejudice and damage the case. So please, let the sheriff's departments do their job. They know how to do this, right? We're helping with them, anything they need from us, but they are the ones driving this investigation, and they will track down every lead. I have all the confidence in both of these great sheriffs and their great departments.
Are they out there today? Is what I'm saying?
This investigation is ongoing, yes. Yes, ma'am.
In an effort to dispel all of that misinformation that we're seeing on social media, has a plea deal?
Well,
been
what
offered?
is misinformation? Why don't we address the misinformation instead of just shaming people? What
It's not a
specific
death
is
penalty case.
misinformation?
We did not and were not able to file special circumstances, and that's what would be required for to be eligible for the death penalty. This is, we filed 2 counts of homicide, which in this case is murder, against both Jake and Rebecca. So not a death penalty case. What was the other?
Not a death penalty case,
No.
even though they have the death penalty. Well, he criticizes everybody else for not being
No,
tough on
we're
crime.
not interested in a plea bargain with these individuals. We're interested in a trial and getting to justice. Yes, sir.
That's good. I can get on board with that.
I don't know. I don't know. That's not something that I have any knowledge of. Going back, yes, ma'am.
Sorry, people. I'm kind of behind on the chat. My chat froze up on me. On my end. It's not your end. Let me see if I can trigger it to.
I think you just
there,
answered your own
refresh.
question. Of course, this is an investigation. We're searching for
They're
evidence.
being rude.
got
I
two
think
great
that
sheriff's
was another
departments
social
doing what
media
they do
creator
best.
too.
So if
It's
there's-
time to
if
start
there's a
filing
chance to
lawsuits.
Find baby Emmanuel's
If they're not going to
remains,
treat you fairly, you
these-
have the right
these
to be there.
Men and women of these 2 agencies will do it.
I'm sorry.
Yes, sir. Estamos aquí porque estamos acusando formalmente a Jake y Rebecca Haro de homicidio y de presentar un reporte falso a la policía. Los padres del bebé de 7 meses permanecen detenidos bajo una fianza de $1 millón. Más de eso no puedo comentar porque no puedo hablar sobre la evidencia en el caso porque eso tiene que suceder en un tribunal, en corte.
$1 million bail.
No puedo comentar. Dije que sí, estamos convencidos que el bebé fue abusado por un periodo de tiempo, o sea, tiene 7 meses, o sea, sobre su vida de 7 meses.
He's
que fue
answering
abusado
questions for the
sobre
Spanish
tiempo.
channels right now.
Yes, sir.
He's the prosecutor. But that Riverside sheriff, you know, no. I don't like his attitude, but, you know, I can't complain because he got the job done, you know? I mean, I can complain, but I won't be complaining about, I'm complaining about his shitty attitude. That was unprofessional. These
Just for
people,
clarification,
that
maybe sheriff's
officer
department, not
serves.
sheriff. There was a
Officer,
call
not
for service
sheriff.
that was generated by Jake that we investigated concerning a child abuse case, and that's all I can give you on that, and it was in Moreno Valley.
It sounds like it might have been his son.
No, no, not at this time.
It sounds like it might. I don't know why it sounds like it might have been his son. Maybe Isabel just finally.
I think we've answered that already. If you are not getting information from his office or my office, you are doing our public an unbelievable disservice. We don't care what someone posts on social media, and if you all are going to believe that and then generate questions based on those comments, we're not going to get anywhere in this. If it did not come from our two agencies, stop believing it. That's all I can tell you.
We don't even know what to stop believing. What is he talking about? I'm literally lost. Like, what the hell is he talking about?
Son responsables de la muerte de su bebé por la evidencia que ya tenemos.
I mean, I just don't understand why this
Es cierto
guy
que no
feels.
tenemos el cuerpo del bebé, pero tenemos bastante evidencia y nosotros.
I just don't. While he's speaking Spanish, I might as well stop. I mean, I just don't understand why they keep criticizing these people that are in their audience. I mean, let's listen. Let's get back here. This is bull.
Do you have another question?
I find it inappropriate and unprofessional.
When you guys were on the 6th freeway in the Badlands area searching, you noticed that Jake was out there with the sheriff's department. Was Jake trying to cooperate at any time with the sheriff during that search?
So we've answered that question, sir. That was Sheriff Dicus that answered
Sheriff
that question
Dicus.
of
Let's
why they were
remember
out
that
there.
guy's name.
He said that there was some level of cooperation with the defendants, and that's all we can say. Yep, that's all we can say. Yes, ma'am.
Do you feel, because the baby was 7 months approximately when he died, born in December 2024, do you feel that there are people that let this baby down?
Do you feel that there are people that let this baby down since he's been born, basically?
7 months of child abuse or several months of child abuse. Do you think there are other people who failed this baby possibly by not reporting what they were seeing, what they thought was happening?
Well, certainly this baby was failed by his parents. So that's first and foremost. So yes, beyond that, I can't comment. But yes, everybody failed this baby that was close to him. Yes.
Even the government.
Yeah. So I can't comment on the evidence in this case, but what I can tell you is that modern homicide investigations are very tech-heavy. And we have two very modern, cutting-edge sheriff's departments in Riverside County and in San Bernardino County. And so, yes, what you mentioned was the high-tech crimes unit of the San Bernardino DA's office, their Bureau of Investigation. They assisted, and beyond that, I can't say what they found. That can't get into the evidence, but yeah, this case is going to be built on, like almost all homicide cases now, electronic, digital evidence. It all comes into play.
Told ya. Remember that when you hear no body crimes not being charged in Tennessee.
Emmanuel, since he was born to the day he was
I can't comment on that. Sorry. Yes, ma'am.
what's next?
What's next is.
Did you see how
First and foremost, the
Okay.
investigation will continue, and it's led by the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, and then also Riverside County Sheriff's Department assisting, and then the prosecution will begin. We've filed the case. The case will begin to work its way through the criminal justice system here in Riverside County. Other folks, yes, we're coming to the end here, I think. Go ahead.
Make sure you're not a social media content creator. They'll be as rude and as inconsiderate as possible.
Not at this time, no.
And
we're not looking at anybody
unprofessional.
else. We believe that this is the.
I'm ashamed of this Sheriff Dicus.
The filings in court.
I'm actually going to write him a letter.
That will be in this case. Now, that could change if new evidence comes in. Yes, sir. I'm not aware of a house fire next door.
He's
Yes,
not
sir.
even aware of the house fire. But we have misinformation. Okay, there you
I'm not
have
gonna
the
comment.
truth.
Sorry, I can't talk about
There
that.
you have the truth. The man doesn't even know
anything
about
else?
a house fire across the street from these people, but everybody else is making up stories. Got it.
En español, de encontrar el cadáver y otra evidencia, pudiera cambiar a que usted presentara cargos de asesinato
Riverside,
con circunstancias
where the child lost
Sí.
his life.
explicaran la pena de muerte para esta
It's Spanish.
Sí, podría cambiar si
So they're just criticizing everybody for passing around misinformation. If it didn't come from their office, it can't be true, and all this other stuff. And then,
I think we're closing up here. Anybody have any last questions? Yes, go ahead. Do you know when? September 4th. The court date will be September 4th. All right, thank you all for coming.
all right. Well, Sheriff Dykus is most likely going to get a strongly worded letter from the Bullhorn Betty channel. I'm sorry. Congratulations to law enforcement. You know, in all fairness, I'm very thankful for the work they did. You know, at the end of the day, excuse me, very thankful for the work that they have done. At the end of the day, I'm not a fan of disrespecting media. Okay? It doesn't matter whether you like media or you don't like media. Do you have that badge on your body? If you have that badge on your body and you uphold the Constitution, then you should be respectful of each and every person there. And if they asked a question that was inappropriate or wasn't resonated in law or resonated in the facts, what they could have said is, no, I believe you may have misunderstood. Here is that didn't even happen, or I can't really, express what truly did happen, but I do appreciate your question, like he does mainstream media. Ostracizing or trying to ostracize social media will be the biggest mistake of any politician's career, because at the end of the day, more than 50% of our country is receiving their news from social media. So what you can do is you can either embrace it and make sure that the information is saturated in fact and law, but criticizing it or acting like it's going to go away anytime soon or not turn around and bite you slap in your damn ass is a very ignorant approach. Even for Riverside, because I'm telling you, I was so proud coming into this press conference about this baby boy to listen to stuff. But what I didn't come here to listen to is hearing a bunch of people up there that are supposed to be professional and disrespect their public. They didn't disrespect Bullhorn Betty. I'm not mad because of me. I'm sitting here in Florida. I'm pissed off at the unprofessional behavior towards social media when more than 50% of the public from this country gets their information from social media. So what did you just do? Criticize your biggest audience? And now people are going to be talking about how disrespectful you were, just the people that were standing there, that at the end of the day, they are citizen journalists. They are the citizens from their communities and residents of California. So you didn't disrespect anybody else but your own public. That to me is disrespectful. That to me is unprofessional. And it just took the conversation away from baby Emmanuel and focused on how disgusting I thought that behavior and mannerism was at the podium. Unprofessional. We're going to keep being here. I can tell you that, bro. We will be here. We're going to be here for these children because, one, we have a right to be here. Two, if you put that badge on, you are upholding the Constitution, which allows us to be here. Now this is already going into a different direction. I'm already frustrated. Congratulations to the officers that did the work, and I'm absolutely confident it wasn't that Sheriff Dykus. It was the people under him. So congratulations to the people under him. Sheriff Dykus, you got some work to do on your professionalism and mannerism. And I will tell you, I would not be voting for you if I was in California, okay? And it's just because you rubbed me the wrong way, not because you done anything wrong or you were not a good sheriff or whatever the case may be. It's just that you just rubbed me the wrong way. So I can tell you thank you for doing a great job in one area and criticize the crap out of you in another area. You will be seeing or hearing, I'm not flying out there, you will be hearing from Bullhorn Betty. And I'm going to make sure that I saturate my letter with federal law, statute, and code to make sure that you understand that people like me have a right to be there, and they have a right to be treated fairly. I'm sorry the people in your mainstream media are losing viewership. And maybe you're fighting on their behalf because they're losing viewership. But criticizing social media is only going to bolster our position in here. So there you go. You know, it's just going to bolster us. And I'm going to tell all the content creators to get out there. Get out there. Do what you do. Do what you do because you have a right to do it. The people that broke in on the property, if you guys are the content creators he's referring to, then, you know, but those weren't the people that were in that. I heard the dark-haired lady, you know, the sweet little girl that we watch, I can't remember, Nature by whatever. She was in there asking questions and was completely disrespected by that sheriff. Ahmed was in there asking questions and I'm telling you, this is why these people don't understand. Because had he talked to me like that, it would have been a little bit of a different story in there. If I'm going to show you respect, sir, you will, by God, show me respect. And I would have earned that respect up there. And I hope the next time social media is in those press conference, when you are disrespected, you politely explain the law and explain why you have a right to be there and to do your investigative work and how this is First Amendment Constitution. And if he's going to sit up there with the badge, then you politely ask him to respect you and give you the dignity and respect you deserve and to answer your question. You don't have to be rude. You don't have to be disrespectful back. Make him look like an asshole. Because I can tell you, he looked like a jerk. From where I stood, and probably where most people did stand today, he looked like a complete utter jerk because everybody knows Ahmed was working his ass off. And yes, Ahmed probably said things that law enforcement did not want out. And maybe they are angry that you know, things that went to the integrity of the investigation. But he has a right to do that. You guys understand that. He has a right and a lawful duty. And it's protected by our Constitution. And anybody wearing the badge should be upholding that protection. And when they're not, even if they solve a case of a baby, I still think they're a horrible sheriff because they don't know the basics of the Constitution. And I'm a constitutionalist. So I think this went terribly, terribly, you know, they took the focus off of baby Emmanuel and put it on social media. We didn't do this to this kid. And for you to tell the audience and the world to stand down, this dude has lost his ever-loving mind. Clearly, he's out of touch. It's time for newer. I think it's just time for new across this country. We are out with the old, in with the new. If they're over the age of 40, then it's time to just put some young folk, okay? I don't care where you're at. It's time to put some young folk. These people are out of touch with us. Okay? We can be right, left, in the middle, up, down. It doesn't matter. These old folks are just out of touch. It's time. It's just time. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. I know most of my audience is 55 and above. I get that. I'm creeping up there too. Okay? I get it. I get it. But I'm sorry. These people don't understand the world. They just don't. They just don't. Aw, Rev. You're a little baby sis. You're a little baby sis. Yeah, let's remove the money. Yeah, good point. But I think, you know what? We got 2026 coming. We got 2028 coming. We need to be fighting for frickin', you know, law and order. And we got to start voting these old folks out. I'm sorry. They're just out of touch. They're just out of touch. And I'm just going to say that all across the board. I don't care if you're in a blue state, a red state, a yellow state, a pink and polka dot state, whatever it is. If they're over a certain age, it's time to start, you know, weighing our options here. I'm sorry. I'm starting to think they're getting a little too out of touch with our society and who the bosses are. All right, that's just all I'm saying. I think if we all got together and started, doing our own thing out here, like kind of how we kind of took hold of news and politics and getting stuff out. I think we need to do that. I really do. I think all of us just need to unite. I mean, we just united over frickin' Cracker Barrel. I've never seen everybody in the frickin' country unite over one simple thing in the whole world. I mean, that was the one time I can honestly say that everybody was pissed. I've never seen it. Oh, I just think now that we're post Cracker Barrel, I really want to just embrace the unity. Okay, I really do. I just want to embrace the unity and just get the old people that don't understand life up out of our life. Right? These are the people that are making decisions. They don't have a clue. These folks don't have a clue, and they're the ones making the decisions for all of us, okay? These are not people that are in touch with us, okay? They're just not. We need young folk, okay? That's going to be law and young folk. Law and young folk. That's what we're going for 2026 and 2028, okay? If they ain't young, they probably don't have the stamina that us young folk need, okay? Now, mind you, I'm creeping up to that 50 mark, okay? So you guys get what I'm saying, okay? Maybe I'm trying to relive my youth. I don't know. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. All right. Well, that was good. I'm glad to hear that baby Emmanuel. And you know what I think? What a few key takeaways are is that there is getting back on topic, okay? Satire over, my complaints about Sheriff Dicus over. But getting back to what we learned about this whole situation is they believe they know where baby Emmanuel is. They tried to, I'm sorry, I know Brian Enton, and Brian Enton is not going to run a story that he is not at least 99.9% sure. And he's the one that ran the Perkins operation, okay? And they were trying to deny this Perkins operation. And mind you, they tried to blame it on social media and criticize social media. If you didn't hear, rah, 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 rah. Okay, I'm tired of that. Okay, that came directly from Brian Enton, and I do believe him. If he says that there was a Perkins operation, I believe there was a Perkins operation. I'm 58. I'm in the BHB. No. Libby. We're going to have, it's time to card them, okay? You know how every time you got to go get a cigarette or a glass of wine and they want to say, even when you're 60 years old, they want your driver's license because they're supposed to card anybody over 40. Well, thank you, madam. But, I think we need to start carding our politicians. I'm sorry. We need to have some age limits. Am I racist on age? Age discrimination. There we go. Betty's violating the law. She's age discriminating. She's age discriminating. No. Oh, okay. All right. I'm starting to be biased of my age. Clearly my age, my birthday coming around in September. It's obviously a love-hate thing. I'd have to agree. A love-hate thing. Some old people have no life but work, so they have no. That's true. And I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I just feel it's out of touch. I think I'm a Virgo too. How did you know? Oh, that's right. I told you my birthday's next month. Duh. Okay. Where's the... There we go. Oh, good gracious. So here's some takeaways. It appears, and the reason why I started off with the Perkins operation is because of the first statement the district attorney made, or the prosecutor, I don't know what his title is. I'm pretty sure it was the prosecutor made. And he says that they have an idea where they believe Emmanuel is. And we know that based upon the sources for the Perkins operation, it was the babies in the garbage and at the landfill. They also indicated that there was a level of cooperation And we know where that level of cooperation came from. The level of cooperation came from Jake. Based upon what I saw yesterday, it looked, like the mom, Rebecca, I don't know. I think for the first time, I felt like she might break. I think she's going to get vindictive. I mean, women do. Let's be honest. Women get a little vindictive when a man hurts her, she wants to hurt back. And let's be honest, we don't believe she's the one that put her hands on this child like that. But maybe she is, because listen, what I heard law enforcement say, is they're charging both of them because they were both involved. There's no way. One of the comments he made, which kind of goes right into what I've been saying, is he said something to the effect of, there's no way this was persistent abuse or whatever he said, and there's no way the other parent wouldn't have known. So I think that's the same thing that got Vanessa in the other, in Promise's case, is because there's no way she wouldn't have known. She had to have witnessed it and just let it be. And this poor little baby, 7 months old, guys, the idea of what we believe has happened to this child, and this is, prior to him losing his life, it's got to be, it's horrible. I mean, his face is disfigured at 7 months old, and we have all seen plenty of photos on social media that depict a much different baby. This baby does not look like the baby she gave birth to. The face doesn't even look the same. And you cannot tell me that his mom that lives across the blessed street didn't know. And I think that they should be arrested for failing to report child abuse. There's no way the mother across the street didn't know. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry, Sheriff Dicus. Am I spreading around misinformation? Good gracious, that really rubbed me the wrong way. I think the guys, but I'm just so sick of the pissing contest. You know what he said basically? Basically, he said he has more control over mainstream media than he does over social media, so he doesn't like us. That's what he said. Well, what this sheriff doesn't understand is the reason why many of us are here is because we don't like and trust mainstream media, and we know government officials control them. But instead of protecting all of our rights, you decide to trample on them. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Constitution is the Constitution, and that sheriff just upheld the Constitution for this baby while stripping away the constitutional rights of a fair press and free press. Anyways. The things that make me go, So another takeaway from this whole case is CPS was not involved. We've been hearing rumors that there was a possibility of CPS. I can't remember where I heard the CPS allegations. It might have been from the girl that has the connection with the family, Rebecca's side of the family. It might be her, and she was there, and she was disrespected by that sheriff. When you want, like I said, I'm not usually on that side of things, so I don't really get so emotionally involved. But after being kind of hooked to the TV, in my phone, watching Ahmed or watching this young girl from Nature. Whatever podcast, True Crime Nature by Crime podcast. I can't remember the name of it. You kind of get to know you. They feel like one feels like my uncle and one feels like my younger sister. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of take ownership of that, and it really rubbed me the wrong way that I felt like they were, being treated poorly by a government official. You guys know how I feel about that. I'm not down like that. I'm not down like that. Nope, not down like that. Another takeaway is that they said that they're comfortable with no body homicides, which I told you California is. California's, they are equipped to do these circumstantial cases. And what did I tell you previously with these circumstantial cases? Remember what I said was these circumstantial cases, they're tougher to do, but there should be more, because in today's society, everything is electronic. Your car, your phone, your arms. You know, Ahmed is, I bet he is livid. Did go over there and tell him Bullhorn Betty was livid too. I called the poor sheriff an a-hole publicly when he's giving us an update. I felt so bad for doing that. It shouldn't have rose to that level in me, but it did. And I don't want to look unappreciative of what they accomplished. But did it have to go with a side of not even criticism, a side of disrespect? Really? Like, you are a government official. You guys know me. I'm a political activist. I don't care how pissed off the public gets you. You are being paid. Just keep it calm. Do I look calm to you, Sheriff Dicus? Good gracious. If anybody needs to turn your volume down, now might be the time. Now might be the time, folks. Now might be the time. But yeah, I would be livid too. I would be livid too, because that sheriff disrespected them. Everybody's there for the same goal. You know, everybody was there for the same goal. Everybody jumped in the action. And you know what the sheriff had the audacity to say? Like their local media could have pushed this out across the world. Like, come on. Come on. People just, like, I guess this is another sheriff that would have just liked to have kept it really low so they didn't have the whole world looking at them, right? Some of these people do. They don't even want these because they just don't want it. They don't want to be bothered by the public. Do you really want sheriffs across this country not wanting to be bothered by the public or pissing on the Constitution? I certainly don't. I don't care if they had an attaboy with finding a child. They're to uphold all of our protections. All of them. So we pissed on one while providing justice for another. How do we give congratulations? It's like a plus and a minus. They equaled each other out. Well, that's okay. I'm pretty sure all social media is about to crawl up Sheriff Dicus's ass right now, because even the audience hearing that. I know social media, and I know how loyal the hundreds of thousands to millions of people across these apps are. And I think, Sheriff Dicus is probably going to learn a valuable lesson in how not to piss off social media. And when you guys go to those board meetings, and I'm talking about the FBI, Secret Service, all you local and Fed agents and state agencies, you guys need to start coming up with plans on how to deal with social media, because I'm telling you, you're going to be pissing a lot of people off if you keep coming here with the same song and dance about how horrible social media is. I'm just saying. Because again, more than 50% of America is getting their news from social media. So my suggestion would be making sure that you work with social media so they don't get it wrong. Might be a proactive approach, right? Because I don't think the approach that this Sheriff Dicus just did is going to be one that's a winner. Just my opinion. Don't spend it all in one spot. I have to keep going back. I don't know why this is making me keep popping back between my chats from live chat to whatever chat, because it just keeps freezing up on me. So I'm not sure what's going on with the reason why if you guys don't see me popping in here is because I've been having some problems with my my situation here. So a no-body homicide, like I said, they're equipped to handle it, and I know that they are. And it's a sad day that Tennessee just doesn't even know how to even. Literally their history. I think they've had 2 no-body cases. Tennessee is by far the worst. They just don't know. They're just ignorant. Like, I don't know how they can find all the state attorneys that don't know how to do their job, how they can find all these sheriffs all over the state that are part of the good old boys club and violate people's rights in their community. Like, I don't understand this with Tennessee. And then to boot, Tennessee has hardly any nobody or circumstantial cases that they bring forward. And you just heard that sheriff, like they have no problem bringing circumstantial cases forward, especially this day and age with technology. So any state that's not doing circumstantial cases, you guys got a failing system. This is 2025. We're literally following ourselves. Every time we take our phone, every time we take our smartwatch, every time we walk down the road and there's a traffic thing, there is no good excuse why there is not more circumstantial cases going across this entire country. Because I truly predict one day it's going to be very rare that we're even going to have an eyewitness, because there's so much digital footprint for us that if we did something wrong, they're going to have the documentation to prove it. I mean, we're basically walking around with freaking an ankle monitor on. It's called a phone in a car, okay? I just want to let you know that's what our government's done. They put all these features in our vehicle and force the manufacturers to do it, but really it's just a stripping of our privacy. They want to know where we are when we commit a crime. They don't want to look at you until you commit a crime, but they want to know if you commit a crime, they can track your every move. Isn't it funny that credit card fees used to be so expensive, so we always used cash? And then all of a sudden one day, magically, the interest rates on for the processing services went way down, forcing everybody to start using credit cards. And then they started handing out those bank cards. And they even actually started giving you credit to convert from cash over to credit cards. Why do you think they did that? Because people were keeping their cash and not depositing it into the bank. And so they weren't able to prove taxes on it. So then they gave us a more convenient way to manage our money. See how that worked? And look at it. There's no cash is king anymore. Why? Because everybody's required to have credit. Wow. I don't know if you guys noticed. So I don't really see, there's going to be a time when we literally only have one or two eyewitnesses to major cases. It's all going to be forensic guys, detectives, all this stuff kind of, doing the dots and stuff like that. At some point, that's just where it is, and we're almost there. So if you're in a state where they don't do circumstantial cases, you need to ask yourself why. Because there should be more circumstantial cases going on today in 2025 than any other era in our time. Just for the forensic data and trail that we leave behind. So it's something to think about, folks. I mean, we are campaigning for law and order across this country because we're sick of covering these cases. We want tougher penalties for people that harm our children, our elderly, or are disabled. We want to make sure that people can walk down the street and not have to carry a hatchet or a big long knife like that poor little girl in Scotland had to do. We look at that and we fear. Now, I don't know how bad that is, or if this was just because we're not over there in that country. And sometimes, believe it or not, our mainstream media shows us videos and chaos that's really not that bad, just to make us feel like another country is falling apart. Or machete, karate, machete. I guess Chris identified as backwoods, foliage. That day he must have, when I was talking about how I needed the machete to cut down the vines and the vegetation in the backwoods of Tennessee, I think he was just identifying as a bush. I mean, it goes with the granny panties. I don't know. I don't know where that came from, but it's true. Because that's all I was going to use the machete on, was the backwoods of Tennessee. And somehow my machete and how happy I was that I can actually cut through some bushes and vines ended up becoming a lethal comment that I allegedly threatened Chris with. And I'm like, I was thinking trees and vines, but I think the bush works better. He identified as a bush. You can't make this stuff up. Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. So, but one thing he did say, he said that, no body homicides are much more difficult to, to prove in a court of law, which we all know that. But he says this one's going to be a little bit easier than most of them because, and he made a valid point, because this child's an infant. This child can't move around by himself. And when I heard that, that's when it dawned on me, they know. They know what happened. They have overwhelming evidence, and they're not scared to take a circumstantial case. So kudos to everybody involved, even Sheriff Dicus. Kudos to all law enforcement that worked on this case, because me, I don't care about my damn feelings when it comes to children. I don't care about your feelings when it comes to my avocation of children. He's the sheriff. I doubt he really gives a rat's ass about anybody's feelings about this matter, because he's probably takes my approach. And it's like, I really don't care. You're breathing, you're living, blah, 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 this, that, and the other. But, the one thing that law enforcement has on their side in these cases is secrecy, right? And when you got people out there and they're making a connection with the community, and the community is speaking with them and releasing the information that they've released to law enforcement doesn't like that, because their job is to try to keep all of that information close to the chest. But in this society, fighting what they're fighting each and every case, we're tone deaf to it's all social media's fault. At this point, we're starting to get frustrated that law enforcement hasn't overcome social media yet. It's frustrating that we hear this. The bottom line is they can fight it all they want, but at the end of the day, they're just going to have to come to acceptance and start being more proactive with social media. And it will limit this. If there's any law enforcement agency across this country that would like to hear my suggestions on how to be proactive with social media, I'm happy to provide it to them. I'm happy to provide it to them with a free phone call. I don't want nothing. You don't have to say you heard it from Betty. You don't have to give me any props whatsoever, but I love law enforcement. And you know what? I think that the focus needs to be on the victims instead of this back and forth between social media and law enforcement. Just my personal, I think that there's a place, clearly there's a place for everybody, because our Constitution says there's a place for everybody. So we're just going to have to get law enforcement and DAs, especially DAs, that are bound by the Constitution, including our law enforcement, which are bound by the Constitution, to start upholding the Constitution for us. Because fighting it is only going to make you look like an a-hole. Because I guarantee you the biggest takeaway from this entire press conference, which should have been about a 7-month-old baby, is going to be how much of an asshole this sheriff was. And that's a shame. That truly is a shame. I expected better. I don't know about you. I just expected better from the sheriff. I expected better from the DA's office. I expected a little more respect, dignity. Everybody was there to do the same thing and to shame people. Like, screw that. I mean, you guys are so disrespectful. So disrespectful. I will tell you, had I been there, I would have treated you exactly how you treated me. And I want to say that for anybody. When I come to a press conference, if I'm not treated with as much dignity and respect as I treat you, I will make a scene. You don't want to play with Bullhorn Betty. I do have a mouth and I do know how to use it. Remember, it's a lethal weapon. Ask Chris Proudfoot. Hashtag Chris Proudfoot, hashtag Katie Proudfoot. Because they're terrified of the words that come out of my mouth. Even the news reporters like Finney have their own channels. Amen. Amen. And not only that, but I didn't go to journalism school. I went to school for law, okay? So I'm sorry, maybe they didn't like Amit's style, but I'm happy to repeat everything that law enforcement has. But you know what the problem is? Your media seems to have all these sources that leak information from law enforcement. Well, we don't have that. We have the public. So why don't you stop the leaks for your reporter, make it a level playing field, and maybe we would all just get along. But when you elevate the playing field for mainstream media and then criticize social media, well, we don't play that. We will go around you, over you, or under you. It's in our nature. This should have been about Emmanuel. That sheriff was wrong. He just was wrong. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to stand by that. Again, I appreciate all law enforcement for the bang-up job that they did in getting this case to where it is, including Sheriff Dicus. My mama showed me manners and taught me manners. Maybe your mama should have too. Just saying. So I'm going to say that I am thankful to Sheriff Dicus, his team, San Bernardino Sheriff, their team, and the prosecutors and other people that are involved, such as the forensic people, the people in the lab, the people that had to rush this stuff, the people that have been sitting on pins and needles, the people with the good hearts that are out there in the street trying to do God's work. And I truly believe it's God's work, and I'm getting sick and tired of our politicians that we pay a shit ton of money to being disrespectful about our profession. I've about had it, and it's time for me to start working on that. Donald J. Trump has sat up there in that White House, and he has made sure that it is well known that we are all entitled to our constitutional rights. He's brought people from social media for the first time in there to actually be able to be part of the press pool for the White House. The first president in history. And if that doesn't lead by example on how important social media and social media content creators are, I don't know what will show you that. But we have a right to be here. We have a constitutional right to be here. And I hope that all DAs, as well as sheriff's departments, police departments, and federal agencies across this country protect that sacred right we all have. Because I'm getting sick and tired of being poo-pooed, and you guys know what happens. When I throw a temper tantrum, it's loud. It comes with a lot of signs. It comes with a lot of stuff. I don't like doing that. That's like my last case scenario. Can't we all just get along? Can't we all just get along? Joe Rogan interview? But it's sad because I spent more time talking about Sheriff Dicus and his disrespectful, unprofessional behavior there at a worldwide case instead of focusing on the details of poor baby Emmanuel's life and information we learned. Because I was so distracted by his vitriol for social media, which the last time I checked, freedom of press and freedom of speech is still a protected constitutional right, even in California, even in San Bernardino, and even in Riverside County, Sheriff Dicus. All right, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. That was the press conference. I'm sorry I kind of went off on a tangent here, but I don't know. When I see something, I say something. It's what I tell you guys to do. It's exactly what I do. I didn't wait until tomorrow to talk about it. I talked about it when it happened, because shame on him for taking the focus off baby Emmanuel for his BS complaint with social media. That was wrong. It was unprofessional, and it wasn't well taken. God bless each and every one of you.